Valentine's Day is right around the corner and you haven't planned shit. It's alright, because honestly, planning holidays is the most stressful part of the holiday. I mean, trying to find the perfect restaurant, trying to get a reservation at that perfect restaurant, and then you end up going and blowing way more money than you ever wanted to. Well, you can have that perfect night right at home. You're probably thinking that you can't make something that fancy at home. I'm going to show you how to do it, and it's only going to take less than 2 hours and only costs this much per plate. Let go. Alright, first things first, we're going to get started on our appetizer. Go ahead and grab a sheet tray and line it with some parchment paper and then set this to the side. Then go ahead and get your cutting board out and grab one onion. You can either use sweet, white, yellow, whatever you have. Slice your onion in half and remove a small part of the stem and the root before peeling and then cleaning off your cutting board. For julienne onions, you can either cut with or against the grain. For this appetizer, we're going to be cutting against the grain to get half moon shapes of onions just like this. Perfect. Now take your half moon sliced onions, place them on your parchment paper to make a full circle. Make sure to give enough space between your onions. Now for cheese, you're looking for any type of creamy cheese. I had some sheep's cheese in my fridge, but goat cheese, feta, any other creamy cheeses will work just fine. Crumble it up into the middle of the onions, making sure that none of it overflows onto the outside of the parchment paper, keeping it nice and condensed in the middle. Next up, go ahead and add some fig jam. If you can't find fig jam, any other jam will work fine, but fig jam works really well with savory dishes. I'm gonna add a little bit of thyme right on top of the cheese here, but it's completely optional. You really don't have to. But what comes next isn't optional, which is the phyllo dough. You can also use puff pastry dough if you can't find phyllo dough, but I highly recommend phyllo for how crunchy it comes out after being baked in the oven. Roll out your dough and then cut into rectangles before slicing into squares. Then take those squares and gently place them over your onions and cheese, crimping down on the sides to seal the phyllo down. Next, just lightly spray with some neutral oil and garnish with a little more thyme and some flaky salt. Did you know that when flaky salt is made, it forms little pyramids like this? Now I'm going to take these and put them into my preheated oven at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, remove from the oven and let them cool and rest for 10 minutes before trying to flip them over. When you're ready, get a fish spatula or any other sturdy spatula and get right under the onions and nice and easily flip them over onto your plate. You're looking for that nice caramelized onion right on the bottom. Now just top with balsamic glaze, fresh lemon zest, and some more flaky salt, and you are good to go. This is a killer appetizer. You have so many complex flavors going on here, and it's so easy to make. You have the caramelized onion, the creaminess from the cheese, the hidden bomb of sweetness from that fig jam that you can't even see it. That's just so good. The lemon zest on top for a little acidity. One of the best things about this is how impressive it looks, and really it only takes about 10 minutes to throw together. The rest of the time, it just takes cooking in the oven. So while it's cooking in the oven, you can work on making your entree.
Rev up those fryers, because I am sure hungry for one.
For your entree, go ahead and grab one massively large chicken breast. Most chicken breasts from the supermarket these days are absolutely massive, so we're going to be cutting this one in half. Just be careful and move slowly and do your best to get as even as possible on both sides. Great, now you should be left with two reasonably sized chicken breasts instead of one prehistoric sized one. Transfer to a wire rack, and now we're going to generously season with salt, and don't be shy. We really want to lock in the flavor of the chicken. Coat both sides evenly and then place into the fridge while we work on our risotto. For your risotto, grab the other half of the onion that you didn't use for your appetizer. Now it's the perfect time to use it so that you don't have a random half onion sitting in your fridge that will haunt you forever. And you're just going to give this a small dice. Next, take 2 to 3 garlic cloves, lightly press down on them, and then rub between your hands to easily remove the skin. Nice. Once peeled, just finely chop them up and add them to your onions. For all my visual learners, here is everything that you need to make your risotto, including the measurements, as well as salt to taste. Now grab a saute pan or a saucier if you're fancy, and bring it over medium-high heat. Once heated, add neutral oil, followed by your onions and garlic, and saute for 1 to 2 minutes just until translucent, but avoid browning. If they start to brown, panic and throw the whole thing away. I'm just kidding. Just move on to the next step. Toss in your arborio rice and let it cook for 1 to 2 more minutes. You're looking to lightly toast the outside of the rice, which helps develop more flavor and makes people think that you know what you're doing, which is always a good thing. Next, deglaze the pan with white wine, and make sure to scrape up any bits that are stuck to the bottom of your pan. This is flavor. Once the wine has reduced and the pan looks dry again, we can start adding in our chicken stock. Here's where your patience really comes in. Add 2 ladles of stock at a time. Let the rice absorb the stock before adding more. You'll know it's time to add more stock when you can make a line with your spatula and the risotto doesn't immediately flow back together. If it stays apart for a bit, it's time to add more stock. Now is also the perfect time to add in your fresh thyme. Keep stirring and ladling in the stock until the rice is fluffy and cooked. And please make sure to taste your rice, otherwise you're gonna end up with a risotto that could double as construction material. As soon as the rice is perfectly cooked, turn off your heat and start grating in fresh Parmesan, followed by a big knob of butter. It's crucial that your heat is turned off at this stage. We are making creamy, dreamy risotto, not weird, cheesy glue. Stir until smooth and lava-like. Boom, risotto's done. Time for the chicken. Take your chicken breast out of the fridge and you should notice moisture has come to the surface. This is exactly what we want. Now grab a paper towel and pat them dry, like really dry. Now bring a saute pan over medium heat and once heated, add in your neutral oil and then drop in your chicken breasts. We're gonna be cooking these 80% of the way on one side. This is really important to help us get a beautiful crust and as well as build the fond on the pan, which is gonna help us create our sauce. Once your chicken reaches an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit, remove from the pan and set aside. Now for your sauce, in the same pan, add 1 chopped shallot and a few cloves of freshly chopped garlic. Saute briefly before deglazing with white wine and chicken stock. Let this reduce for about 70%, which is just a fancy way of saying let it cook down for a bit. Now add in a splash of heavy cream, a spoonful of Dijon mustard, and season with salt and black pepper. Stir everything together and let it cook for another 1 to 2 minutes. Once your sauce is thickened up a bit, turn off the heat and add in a knob of butter. This is called Monty el Beurre, which is just French for making sauces taste even better. Stir it in until the sauce is smooth and glossy because let's be honest, glossy sauces just look more impressive. To finish, toss in a few fresh herbs. I had cilantro on hand, but parsley would work great too. And there you have it, a silky, flavorful pan sauce that makes it look like you spent hours in the kitchen because honestly, we are spending hours in the kitchen. After you have let your chicken rest, slice it at an angle, and then go ahead and plate your risotto. Scoop a portion onto the plate and then smack the bottom of the plate to evenly distribute the risotto. Then top with more fresh Parmesan cheese and your beautiful chicken breast. Now ladle on a couple tablespoons of your sauce and garnish with more fresh herbs. Sometimes simpler dishes just executed very well come out way better than anything you could get at a restaurant. This is one of those cases. If you're gonna make this, I highly recommend you do the salt dry brine in the fridge because it really pulls out the moisture from that chicken, which allows you to get such a better crust. And when you're using simpler ingredients in a simpler meal, it's the little things like that that really matter. Even though this went kind of cold because I've been filming, it's still that good. Okay, appetizers are done. Your entree is finished. Now it's time to wrap up the night with a beautiful homemade dessert. Once again, something simple yet done really well that looks really impressive. A perfect chocolate lava cake with a raspberry compote. Let's go. Alright, first jump off of your counter because we have a dessert to make. Now once again, here's all the ingredients that you'll need for your raspberry compote, plus all the measurements. In a small sauce pot, add in your raspberries, but save 3 or 4 to add as garnish to your lava cake at the end. Follow with your sugar, cinnamon, salt, lemon zest, and half the juice of the lemon. Mashing the raspberries as you go, you're looking for a thickened jam-like consistency, which should take about 15 to 20 minutes. Stirring occasionally because burnt raspberries are nobody's friend. Now, go ahead and preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's where most people mess up baking. Just because your oven beeps does not mean it is ready. After it beeps, wait another 15 to 20 minutes to make sure it is properly heated. Otherwise, your cake will bake unevenly, and that's just heartbreaking. Next, grab 2 eggs. We're only going to be using 1 full egg, the other we're only going to be using the egg yolk. Now grab the rest of your ingredients for your cake. Once again, here's all the ingredients that you'll need plus the measurements. This recipe makes enough for 2 6-ounce ramekins, so if you're making this for yourself, well, congrats, you get to eat 2, or just cut the recipe in half. Now here is a crucial step, greasing your ramekin. You can butter and flour them the old-fashioned way, or if you're living in the future like me, just use a baking spray with flour. It's pretty much the same thing and is much easier to use in a can. All right, moving on. You're gonna wanna set up a double boiler, which is just a pot of simmering water with a bowl on top. Nothing fancy, it's just science. Now add in your chocolate and butter and stir continuously until they melt and become one smooth, glorious mixture. Try not to eat it all just yet. Once fully melted and emulsified, set aside to cool down for a little bit. In a separate small bowl, crack in your 1 egg and 1 egg yolk. Add in your sugar and beat this together until it turns light and fluffy, about 1 to 2 minutes. Now once your chocolate has slightly cooled, slowly incorporate your egg and sugar mixture, followed with your flour. Carefully fold everything together until it's fully combined. No aggressive whisking here, we're just making cake, we're not trying to start a tornado. Now pour your cake batter into your greased ramekins. If you want it to evenly distribute, use a toothpick to gently swirl it around. Then give the ramekin a few taps on the counter to get rid of all the air bubbles to ensure it fills all the sides properly. Now add it into your fully preheated oven. Bake for exactly 8 minutes, not 7, not 9. I found 8 to be the magic number for this, but it might be different depending on your oven. oven and ramekin size. After 8 minutes, take your ramekin out of the oven and grab a toothpick. Now insert it into the outer edge of the cake. It should come out completely dry. Next, insert it right into the middle of the cake. It should come out wet and gooey, which means you did it. The center is molten and the edges are set, and your lava cake is cooked perfectly. I know you want to flip it out immediately and see that glorious lava flow, but hold on, let the cake sit for 10 to 15 minutes. This helps it set up just enough so that it won't completely fall apart when you flip it out. After it's rested, take a plate and place it right on top of the ramekin. Now flip it over confidently, give it a gentle tap on the top, and your cake should slide out perfectly. Now add a dollop or two of your raspberry compote right on top and dust with powdered sugar. Garnish with a few fresh raspberries because at this point, why not? And there you have it, a beautifully cooked chocolate lava cake. Let's cut it open and oh yeah, look at that. Perfectly gooey center. The outside is perfectly baked. The inside is molten. And if you don't immediately take a bite, I don't know how you have that kind of self-control. Is that better than Chili's?
Yes.
Whether it's Valentine's Day or you just want an amazing date night meal right at home, these are 3 easy but elevated dishes that you can make for your significant other that will look super impressive. And if you time everything out perfectly, it can all be done in just under 2 hours and only cost this much per person. You're not going to beat that at a restaurant, and you're definitely not going to beat how good this tastes.